Well, hello, and today in ACCA APM, I thought I'd share with you another one of these questions that some students think are silly, but they're not silly at all. They're really quite good questions. And the question I got yesterday actually concerned heterogeneity in the assessment of the service performance in a service business. And the example was given of a dentist who was extracting teeth from two different patients, or a tooth from two different patients, and asking, well, what has heterogeneity got to do with the assessment of performance? At the end of the day, they've extracted a tooth from two different people. It's the same dentist using the same equipment. Let's assume the dental procedure was similar. So surely heterogeneity, I suppose, doesn't come into it. And so when you think about this, what does heterogeneity, mean to performance? It's a very interesting question, because human beings, which is what heterogeneity refers to, are inherently, I think, inconsistent with how they treat people and different from one to another. Now, whilst in this example, the dentist is the same, the patient is a different person in each case, isn't it? But even the dentist, could have some differences from one treatment to the next, not in terms of the tangible things that they're doing. They'll give an anaesthetic, for example. They'll use the same sort of tools. They'll try and use the same sort of procedures and techniques. That's fair enough. But the way in which they deal with the person, the patient, each individual time might not be exactly the same. Because if you think about it in your own personal relationships, you don't behave exactly the same with every single person. I certainly don't, and I know that about my personality. I react to what is in front of me quite a lot, I think, and I change my personality quite considerably depending upon the type of person that's in front of me. But of course, the patient also, if you think about it, the two patients concerned might be different. Their pain thresholds might be different. Their expectations might be different. One might have expected an extraction and the other might have hoped for the tooth to be saved, for example. And so heterogeneity, when you're looking at a service, the individual's reaction to that service is where the variability, if you like, comes in. And do bear in mind that how do you assess the performance of a service? How do you assess? Well, you have to ask the doctor and you have to ask the patient. Yeah. And of course, these two people have their own perspectives. The doctor or the dentist, I suppose, might be proud of their work and overstate their talents and overstate their service levels. The patient, on the other hand, has no such axe to grind and might speak much more openly and freely about the pain or the expectation or the mannerisms of the dentist in question. So in other words, to assess service in a service business, you've got to ask the people. So heterogeneity is really a central sort of consideration in terms of the quality of service that's then being provided. So you can't ignore it. So even if the service that is being provided is tangibly very similar, and that's debatable in this example in any case, but if it's tangibly similar, it doesn't mean you're going to get the same results. The service level will be determined by the people, and the people, if you like, are very different. So ACCA APM is a great paper and requires a good deal of understanding of human nature, I think, to be able to answer a question properly like that. So it's not a silly question. It was a really, really good question.